Hey guys, tonight we're diving into the fascinating world of one of humanity's most comforting creations, hotels, the kind of places we often take for granted when we're travelling, looking for a place to rest our tired bodies and refresh our minds. But have you ever wondered where these places started? Imagine ancient travellers trekking through unknown lands, wondering where they would sleep for the night. No cosy lobbies, no warm beds, no endless buffet breakfasts. Just a simple place to rest. Maybe a roof over their heads, and probably more than a little bit of uncertainty. You probably won't survive this deep dive into ancient hospitality without being totally amazed by the sheer creativity and necessity that birthed the world's first accommodations for travellers. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Feel free to comment with where you're listening from and what time it is in your neck of the woods. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The history of the world's first hotels might surprise you. It didn't begin with lavish resorts or sleek modern designs. It all started with necessity. The earliest forms of lodging didn't come with 24-hour concierge service or a spa, but they did offer something much more basic: shelter. The need for rest and protection during long, arduous travel sparked the invention of places where people could stay overnight. These first accommodations weren't even truly hotels in the modern sense. They were more like humble guesthouses or stops for weary travellers. Let's travel back in time to the earliest beginnings of what would eventually become the modern hotel industry. The first known guesthouses are traced back to ancient civilizations, where the need for travel accommodations arose as early as 5,000 years ago. Travellers, merchants, and pilgrims journeying across long distances would need a place to rest, eat, and perhaps get some basic services. These early establishments weren't luxurious. Far from it. They were usually simple affairs, offering a roof, basic food, and some modicum of protection. Imagine the rough, dusty roads of ancient Mesopotamia or the busy marketplaces of ancient Egypt. You would wander into a building, maybe knock on a wooden door and be greeted by someone who could offer you a place to sleep for the night. The accommodations might have been far from comfortable, but they were a lifeline for those travelling in an unforgiving world. Historians still argue whether the first true hotels came from Mesopotamia or elsewhere, but evidence points to the earliest guest houses being found in ancient Sumer, modern-day Iraq, around 3000 BCE. These guest houses were likely created for merchants and traders who were passing through the cities and needed a safe place to rest. There were no fancy amenities or room service, but these simple structures served a crucial purpose, providing protection from the dangers of the road along with a place to eat and sleep. It wasn't until much later that the idea of luxury or even comfort would enter the picture. As ancient civilizations grew and trade flourished, the concept of hospitality continued to evolve. The sounds of travellers resting in these early establishments weren't the polite whispers of today's hotel lobbies, but the bustling chatter of merchants sharing stories, bartering goods, and negotiating deals. In these early guest houses, travellers found not just a bed but a network, a chance to connect with others who were also navigating the long roads between cities and empires. These humble stops became vital to the functioning of early economies, especially as trade routes expanded and the demand for lodging grew. The earliest forms of accommodation might not have had the grand lobbies, concierge desks or minibar fridges that we associate with hotels today, but they mark the beginning of a global tradition of hospitality. And so, as we travel back to these ancient times, we start to see how necessity transformed into something much bigger. These ancient stops weren't just places to rest. They were the first glimpses of what would eventually become the grand, luxurious hotels of the future. Now that you're getting a sense of how early accommodations were born out of necessity, let's head over to one of the first civilizations where travel and hospitality began to take on a more structured form: ancient Mesopotamia. Picture yourself walking through the bustling city of Ur, circa 2300 BCE. The sounds of a thriving trade hub fill the air, the clink of bronze coins, the chatter of merchants peddling their wares, and the distant cry of camels and donkeys hauling goods. As you look around, you realize that travel here, like in most ancient civilizations, is a long and unpredictable ordeal. There are no motorways or hotels with comfy beds awaiting you. You need a place to stay, somewhere safe, where you can rest your tired bones and continue your journey in the morning. In ancient Mesopotamia, the first guest houses, which could be considered the earliest forms of hotels, began to emerge. They were simple establishments, constructed by local governments or wealthy individuals to accommodate traders and travellers passing through the city. While not much remains of these guest houses today, historians have uncovered texts and inscriptions that suggest these early lodgings provided a much-needed service. Think of them as humble way stations where travellers could get some rest, food, and shelter from the unpredictable elements. Historians still argue whether these early guest houses were truly commercial in nature or more aligned with religious functions. Some scholars believe they were attached to temples, serving both spiritual and practical purposes. In these temple-based guest houses, travellers may have been treated with a degree of reverence, especially if they were pilgrims making religious journeys. Mesopotamian hospitality was often framed within a broader context of divine protection, and offering shelter to strangers was considered a sacred duty. So the sounds of these ancient guest houses weren't just the clatter of everyday life, they also carried a sense of sanctity. If you were a traveller, you would likely enter through large stone doors into a cool, dimly lit space where you could rest after a long day's journey. The smell of burning incense mixed with the earthy scent of stone walls would greet you, and the servants would offer you simple meals of bread and stew. However, while these early guest houses were a crucial part of the urban infrastructure, they were still far from what we would recognise as a modern hotel. The amenities were minimal, the food was basic, and the accommodations were often shared. This wasn't a place where you would get your own room with privacy and a comfortable bed. Instead, it was more likely that you would share space with fellow travellers, merchants, soldiers, or perhaps priests, who were all looking for a place to sleep for the night. The overall atmosphere wasn't particularly luxurious, but it was functional. You'd probably sleep on a mat laid out on the floor, and the only privacy you'd get might be from the fellow traveller snoring beside you. Despite their simplicity, these early guest houses played an essential role in facilitating trade, culture, and communication between distant regions. Travel during this time wasn't just for leisure. It was mostly for business, pilgrimage, or military campaigns. The guest houses served as a bridge between different cultures and communities, creating spaces where people from all walks of life could rest, exchange information, and continue their journeys. While Mesopotamia was one of the first to develop this system of travel lodgings, other ancient cultures soon followed suit. Ancient Egypt, for instance, had its own forms of hospitality, though, like Mesopotamian guest houses, these weren't quite the hotels we know today. Still, these ancient practices laid the groundwork for the more sophisticated, more organised establishments that would come to dominate the landscape of travel and hospitality in centuries to come. As you think back on these early guest houses, it's easy to imagine the quiet, bustling atmosphere of an ancient trade city. The sounds of merchants haggling, the clink of coins, and the soft murmur of travellers settling in for the night form a lively backdrop for what was, in essence, a primitive form of lodging. While far removed from the luxury hotels of the modern world, these Mesopotamian guest houses served an essential role in the development of travel and hospitality as we know it. As we leave behind the stone walls and dusty roads of Mesopotamian guest houses, let's turn our attention to the iconic civilization of ancient Egypt. Here, we find that the concept of hospitality took on a unique and deeply spiritual form. Imagine travelling along the Nile where the vast lush landscapes give way to majestic temples and towering pyramids. Your journey might bring you to sacred sites or bustling marketplaces, but when night falls, where do you go for rest? In ancient Egypt, the answer wasn't always as simple as a humble guest house. Instead, the Egyptians often turned to temples as both spiritual centres and places of refuge for travellers. In ancient Egyptian society, temples weren't just places of worship. They were multifaceted institutions that served many roles. Some temples had guest rooms designed to accommodate pilgrims who came from distant lands to seek blessings from the gods or to pay tribute to the pharaoh. These sacred guest houses, though not hotels in the modern sense, were significant for travellers. The journey to Egypt's holy sites was often long and arduous, so temples offered shelter to those seeking divine favour. Imagine entering a grand temple, the scent of incense thick in the air, the sound of sacred hymns filling the space. Here, a weary traveller might be given a mat to rest on, offered a meal of simple grains or bread, and invited to sleep under the watchful gaze of deities carved into the stone walls. It was a far cry from the comforts of a modern hotel, but the sense of peace and safety provided by the temple guest houses was immeasurable. Historians still debate how widespread these temple-based accommodations were and to what extent they resembled the guest houses of Mesopotamia. Some believe that temple guest houses were reserved for elite travellers, such as priests or royal envoys, while others suggest they were more accessible to ordinary pilgrims. Regardless of who stayed there, the idea of hospitality in Egypt was intertwined with the divine. Offering shelter wasn't just an act of kindness, it was an act of devotion. The ancient Egyptians believed that travellers, particularly those making religious pilgrimages, were under the protection of the gods, and providing a place to rest was seen as a pious duty. As we imagine stepping into one of these temple guest houses, we realise that the sounds of this place were vastly different from those of the Mesopotamian guest houses. Instead of the busy commerce of merchants, there would be a hushed reverence, the soft rustling of linen sheets, and perhaps the distant chanting of priests. The guests, whether they were pilgrims or dignitaries, would be treated with great respect, as their presence was considered to be part of the divine plan. While ancient Egypt certainly influenced the development of hospitality in the ancient world, these temple guest houses were still a far cry from the commercial lodgings we'd eventually come to associate with the modern hotels. They were more spiritual rest stops than places where one could expect comfort or leisure. But in their own way, these temple guest houses set the stage for how travellers would eventually come to seek refuge in places of rest. In the grander sense, they were an early reflection of the human need for safe and welcoming spaces where one could find rest, whether that rest was for the body, the mind, or the spirit. As we continue on our journey, it's easy to see how these sacred places were integral to the travel experiences of ancient Egyptians and other cultures of the ancient world. They weren't just about finding a place to sleep. They were about connecting with the divine, with the land, and with a network of people who, like you, were travelling across vast distances. The influence of these early forms of accommodation reverberates through history, slowly evolving into the guest houses, inns, and eventually the hotels we'd come to know. But before we get to those luxurious hotels of today, we need to make our next stop in the ancient world, ancient Greece. As we leave behind the mystical temples of Egypt, let's travel further west to ancient Greece, where hospitality, or xenia, as the Greeks called it, was considered not only a social norm but a sacred duty. In ancient Greek society, hospitality was governed by the gods, and the exchange of gifts and shelter was seen as a form of honouring both the guest and the divine. It was believed that the god Zeus, in his role as Zeus Xenios, the protector of travellers and strangers, would punish anyone who failed to offer proper hospitality. This meant that to be a gracious host was a moral obligation, one woven deeply into the fabric of Greek culture. So, let's imagine you're walking through a bustling Greek city-state like Athens. You've just arrived from a long journey by sea, perhaps from the islands, or from a neighbouring city. The sun is setting, casting long shadows on the cobblestone streets, and you're looking for a place to rest. You might not find a formal hotel as we know it, but what you could find instead were xenias, guest houses or simple homes where travellers were welcomed with open arms. These were modest, family-run establishments, often operated by individuals who viewed hosting guests as both a civic duty and a divine responsibility. Historically, it's difficult to pinpoint exactly how widespread these early forms of hospitality were, but what's clear is that in ancient Greece, the act of hosting guests wasn't just about providing shelter. It was an opportunity to build relationships and honour the gods. When you arrived at a Greek household, you'd be greeted with a warm welcome, perhaps a bowl of water to wash your hands, and then the host would offer you food and drink, often in the form of simple but hearty dishes like bread, olives and wine. Your comfort and well-being were the host's top priority, and in exchange the guest would offer stories from their travels, gifts, or tokens of appreciation. The soundscape of these early Greek guest houses wasn't filled with the clinking of coins or the clamour of busy inns. Instead, it was filled with conversation, the rustling of cloth and the quiet clink of utensils as food was served. There would be an intimate, almost familial atmosphere in these spaces, with travellers from all walks of life sharing meals and stories, forging connections that would last well beyond their stay. The Greeks understood that hospitality was a bridge between different peoples, and it helped form the ties that kept their city-states connected. Even if you were just passing through, the experience of staying at a xenian was about more than just rest. It was about building community. Historians still argue whether the Greeks had formal inns in the way we understand them today, or whether hospitality was mostly offered through private homes and temples. Some suggest that larger cities like Athens may have had public spaces dedicated to travellers, while smaller towns relied more on the generosity of individuals. Regardless, the importance of xenia can be seen in the many ancient texts that reference the practice. For instance, in Homer's Odyssey, the hero Odysseus is often treated with xenia by strangers, but he also sees its darker side when people violate the sacred duty of hospitality. As you think about the concept of xenia, it's interesting to reflect on how this form of hospitality influenced the way we think about travel today. The fundamental notion that guests should be treated with respect and generosity, regardless of their status or background, still underpins the hospitality industry. It's the idea that the traveller, whether they're seeking rest for a night or a longer stay, should be met with warmth and dignity. In this way, the ancient Greeks planted the seed for the very idea of guest services that we see in hotels today, albeit without the room keys and minibars. In some ways, Greek xenia can be considered the spiritual predecessor of the modern hotel. It wasn't about luxury or lavishness, but about providing comfort and a sense of belonging, wherever you were in the world. This sacred hospitality, rooted in the divine, gave travellers not just a roof over their heads, but a sense of community and protection. A far cry from the impersonal nature of modern travel accommodations. So, as we continue our journey, we can begin to see how the ideas of rest and hospitality were evolving. From the ancient guest houses of Mesopotamia to the divine hospitality of Greek xenia, the seeds of the modern hotel are being planted. We've travelled across civilizations, and as we do, we're starting to hear the first whispers of what would one day become the grand hotels of the future. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's travel even further, through time and across continents, to explore the role of inns in medieval Europe, where the idea of hospitality would take on new forms and new challenges. As we step into the medieval era, we find ourselves in a vastly different world from the grand temples of Egypt or the hospitable homes of ancient Greece. Picture yourself in 12th century Europe, where roads are still rudimentary and travel is often slow and treacherous. It's a time of feudal kingdoms, castles and crusades, a time when people are rarely far from home. Yet those who do venture out face a world full of uncertainty. The idea of a hotel as we know it doesn't exist yet, but inns are starting to take root, becoming an essential part of the medieval landscape. In medieval Europe, inns were often run by private individuals or monasteries, and they provided much-needed shelter and food for weary travellers, pilgrims and merchants. Imagine walking into one of these early inns after a long journey. The smell of wood smoke and roasting meat fills the air as you push open the creaky door. Inside, the atmosphere is lively, with people talking, eating and drinking. It's not exactly the relaxing, quiet retreat we might expect from modern hotels, but it's a far cry from the basic guest houses of earlier times. These inns were often located along trade routes, near important towns, or at crossroads where travellers would congregate. They were a mix of commerce and hospitality, designed to cater to the practical needs of the people who passed through. Unlike the more divine and intimate hospitality of ancient Greece, these inns had a more functional, often bustling atmosphere. The sounds of horses whinnying outside, the clinking of mugs and tankards, and the chatter of travellers would fill the air as you checked in. But even though the accommodations weren't luxurious, often just a straw-filled mattress on the floor or a shared room with other travellers, these inns were crucial hubs for trade and travel. Historians still argue whether inns in the medieval period were more like simple rest stops or true accommodations, where travellers could relax for longer stays. Some argue that these inns were basic, more like taverns with a room to sleep in, while others suggest that some inns went beyond the basics, offering services such as food, drink, and even local gossip to keep travellers entertained and informed. What we do know is that inns during this period were places where people could share information, make connections, and often exchange goods. These inns served as meeting points for merchants, travellers and pilgrims alike, and their importance in the medieval economy cannot be overstated. One of the key features of these medieval inns was their role as stopping points for pilgrims. Medieval Europe was a land rich in religious devotion, and pilgrimages to holy sites were common. Pilgrims travelling long distances to visit shrines, churches and relics needed places to stay. Monasteries often provided simple accommodations, but dedicated inns specifically for pilgrims began to appear in places like Jerusalem, Rome and Santiago de Compostela. These pilgrim inns, while basic, provided a sense of community and comfort in an otherwise uncertain world. Imagine yourself as a pilgrim, entering a modest stone building after a long day of walking. The innkeeper welcomes you with a simple meal and a place to rest, and in the morning you can continue your journey, your spirit refreshed and your body ready for the next leg of the trip. For the average traveller, staying in these inns wasn't necessarily a luxurious affair. They were often noisy, crowded and uncomfortable, but they were functional. Think of them more as practical lodgings rather than places for relaxation or luxury. They served an essential purpose for the medieval world, helping people get from place to place while offering a bit of rest along the way. The sounds of these inns weren't those of quiet solitude, but of lively interactions. Travellers sharing their stories, merchants haggling over prices, and the innkeeper bustling around, ensuring that everyone had something to eat and a place to sleep. At the same time, the existence of inns in medieval Europe marked a shift in the nature of travel itself. Travel was no longer just for the wealthy or the elite. It was becoming more accessible to the common folk as well. These inns made it possible for more people to travel across the land, whether for business, religion, or pleasure. The concept of travel as a regular activity for people outside of the aristocracy was beginning to take shape, and the development of inns helped lay the foundation for the more organised and commercialised hotel industry of the future. Yet, even with the expansion of inns across Europe, the idea of comfort was still quite distant. The simple nature of these early inns left little room for extravagance. The accommodations were basic at best: shared rooms, straw bedding, and minimal privacy. For those who could afford a bit more luxury, there were a few higher-end inns that offered more refined experiences, but these were few and far between. Still, the concept of hospitality was evolving. People had learned that travel was more than just a necessity. It was becoming an experience in itself. As cities grew and trade routes expanded, the inns of the medieval period would continue to evolve, slowly building toward the modern hotels we're familiar with today. The sounds of medieval inns, with their rough-hewn timber beams and stone walls, are part of the sensory fabric of the past. The clinking of mugs, the rustle of travellers' cloaks, the murmur of quiet conversation. It's a far cry from the silent, peaceful lobbies of today's hotels. But these sounds of the past are part of the history that shaped how we think about hospitality today. They remind us that before there were lavish rooms with luxurious linens and room service at the push of a button, there were simple places where travellers could rest, find food, and connect with others along their journeys. Now that we've explored the bustling communal inns of medieval Europe, let's travel further along the ancient trade routes to a region that played a key role in connecting the East and West, the Silk Road. Here, the rise of caravanserais, the large, often luxurious roadside inns, marks a significant chapter in the evolution of hospitality. Imagine yourself as a merchant travelling through the vast deserts of Central Asia, carrying silks, spices, and precious goods from China to the Mediterranean. The road is long, the landscape harsh, and the dangers are many, but every so often you see the familiar silhouette of a caravanserai on the horizon, a safe haven, a place of respite after days of hard travel. These caravanserais were far more than simple inns. They were critical hubs of commerce, culture, and connection along the Silk Road, facilitating not only the movement of goods, but the exchange of ideas, technologies, and religions. Historians often note how caravanserais were strategically placed, offering shelter, food, and water to travelling merchants, pilgrims, and soldiers. The soundscape of these places was lively and diverse, filled with languages from across Asia, the Middle East, and even Europe. You might hear the rumbling of camels and horses, the chatter of traders bargaining for goods, and the clinking of coins as deals were made. These roadside inns were typically built as large, fortress-like complexes, offering rooms for travellers, stables for their animals, and communal areas for eating and socialising. While their main function was to provide shelter and safety, caravanserais also acted as vital points for cultural exchange. Merchants who travelled along these trade routes didn't just carry goods, they carried ideas, and the caravanserais were the places where these ideas were exchanged. Whether it was the introduction of papermaking from China or the spread of Islam into Central Asia, the caravanserais played a key role in shaping the intellectual and cultural landscape of the ancient world. Historians still debate whether the caravanserais were more communal or more commercial in nature. Some scholars argue that they were primarily trade-focused, designed to serve the needs of merchants. Others suggest that caravanserais served a broader purpose, acting as cultural and religious hubs where people of different backgrounds could gather. Regardless of the emphasis, one thing is clear. The caravanserais were far more than just places to sleep. They were microcosms of the Silk Road itself, a blend of cultures, languages, and customs that came together in one place. Imagine walking into one of these magnificent caravanserais after a long day of travel. The doors creak open, and you're greeted by the cool air of the courtyard, which is lined with palm trees and fountains. Travellers from all corners of the world are gathered here, enjoying a meal or trading goods. The scent of exotic spices fills the air, and the sound of Arabic, Persian and Turkish blends together in a harmonious cacophony. You find a seat in the communal dining hall where you can share a meal with your fellow travellers, exchanging stories of your journey. The night is calm, the stars twinkling above, as the caravanserai provides you with the safety and comfort you need to rest before continuing on your journey. Despite their grandeur, however, caravanserais were not always places of luxury. Their accommodations were typically basic, offering sleeping mats or simple bedding on the floor. The rooms were often shared, and privacy was a luxury that few travellers could afford. But what they lacked in personal comfort, they made up for in security and convenience. For travellers crossing vast distances with precious cargo, the safety of a caravanserai was invaluable. It was a place where travellers could rest their tired bodies, nourish themselves, and protect their goods from theft or bandits. In the grander picture of history, the caravanserais are a fascinating reflection of the importance of hospitality to the success of trade and travel. They were essential to the functioning of the Silk Road, allowing merchants and travellers to traverse vast distances, carrying goods and ideas between continents. Without these havens, the trade routes would have been far less effective, and the cultural exchange that defined the Silk Road might not have been as rich or diverse. As the caravanserais played a pivotal role in ancient commerce and culture, they also laid the foundation for what would eventually evolve into the more formalised and commercialised hotel industry. The model of providing travellers with not just shelter, but also food, security and social space became a key influence on later developments in hospitality. In many ways, the caravanserais were the first true multifunctional hotels, complexes that served as lodging, marketplace and meeting place all in one. The sound of commerce and culture resonating through their walls paved the way for the hotels of the future, where not only the physical needs of travellers were met, but their social and cultural needs were as well. As we leave behind the bustling trade routes of the Silk Road, we now find ourselves in Japan, where the evolution of hospitality took on yet another form. Entering the world of the Japanese ryokan, we find a deeply cultural approach to lodging that has lasted for centuries. As we leave behind the vibrant caravanserais of the Silk Road, let's head to the east, where a completely different approach to hospitality emerged. In Japan, where hospitality has long been a deeply rooted part of the culture, the ryokan, the traditional Japanese inn, would become the epitome of grace, simplicity, and refined service. Imagine yourself arriving in a small town nestled in the Japanese countryside. The air is crisp, the scent of pine trees wafts through the breeze, and you've been walking for hours, your muscles aching for rest. You approach a ryokan, its wooden structure standing quietly amidst the natural landscape, and you can already sense that what awaits inside will be more than just a place to sleep. The ryokan is a true symbol of Japanese hospitality, or omotenashi, where the goal is to anticipate the needs of guests and provide the highest level of service without them even needing to ask. As you step through the sliding paper doors, you're immediately greeted by the peaceful sounds of running water from a nearby stream and the soft murmur of distant conversations. The smell of tatami mats, woven straw mats that cover the floor, fills the air, grounding you in the simplicity of your surroundings. The ryokan isn't just a place to sleep, it's a full experience. You'll find that the atmosphere is quiet, almost meditative, and there's a strong focus on tranquility and respect for nature. Historically, ryokan have been around for over 1,000 years, beginning in the Heian period, 74 LNT5. The concept started as simple guesthouses or resting stops for pilgrims travelling to sacred sites, particularly those associated with Shinto and Buddhist shrines. Over time, the ryokan evolved into places that catered to aristocrats, and later common folk. The traditional ryokan is often built with natural materials like wood and paper, incorporating elements of Japanese design philosophy, such as Zen-inspired simplicity and a deep respect for nature. The aesthetic is minimalist. Furniture is sparse, with futons and tatami mats taking the place of modern Western-style furniture. Even the lighting is soft and subdued, designed to create a serene atmosphere conducive to relaxation and reflection. In a traditional ryokan, your experience starts the moment you step inside. You remove your shoes before entering the guest area, adhering to the Japanese custom of cleanliness and respect for the indoor space. You are then led to your room, which is furnished with tatami mats on the floor and sliding paper doors. The room may be small, but it's designed to maximize simplicity and functionality, with every element thoughtfully arranged. A low wooden table might sit in the center, surrounded by cushions, where you will be served tea. The emphasis in a ryokan is always on creating a calm, uncluttered environment that allows you to experience the present moment fully. Historians still debate whether the ryokan was inspired by the guest houses of China or developed independently in Japan, but what's certain is that the ryokan became integral to the development of Japanese travel culture. By the Edo period, 1603–1868, when travel became more accessible due to the expansion of road networks, the ryokan started to flourish, providing travellers with both a place to rest and a space to enjoy traditional Japanese meals. Ryokan guests would be served a multi-course meal known as kaiseki, showcasing the best seasonal ingredients prepared with meticulous attention to detail. The meal is often the highlight of the stay, a true celebration of Japanese culinary art. Imagine being served the meal in your room with the delicate sounds of the koto, a traditional Japanese string instrument, playing softly in the background. The dishes are elegantly presented, each plate a work of art in its own right. You're offered warm miso soup, delicate sashimi, and steamed fish, each bite a symphony of flavours. The focus on seasonal ingredients and the careful preparation of each dish reflect the broader Japanese philosophy of appreciating simplicity, balance, and the natural world. In addition to the meal, ryokan often offer the opportunity to enjoy an onsen, a hot spring bath. So, after you've enjoyed your meal, you're invited to relax in a natural hot spring, which has long been a part of Japanese culture. The sound of hot water gently cascading into the pools, combined with the sight of the steam rising from the surface, provides a deeply calming experience. The hot spring water, rich in minerals, is believed to have healing properties, and soaking in the warm water is a way to unwind, refresh, and cleanse both body and mind. It's no wonder that ryokan have remained so beloved in Japan, because they offer far more than just a bed to sleep in. They offer a holistic experience that nurtures the soul. While the traditional ryokan remains a staple in many parts of Japan, there has been a modernization of the concept in recent years. Today you can find more contemporary ryokan alongside the old-style ones, some of which now incorporate Western-style beds and amenities to appeal to international travellers. Despite these changes, however, the core principles of ryokan hospitality, comfort, simplicity, and a deep respect for nature, remain at the heart of the experience. The sound of the ryokan, from the soft swish of shoji doors opening and closing to the quiet rustling of futons being set up for the night, continues to echo the traditions of centuries past, a reminder that even in an increasingly globalized world, the essence of omotenashi is still alive and well. The ryokan's profound influence on Japanese culture can't be overstated. Its impact on hospitality in Japan has been so deep that elements of its design and service philosophy can be seen in modern hotels, particularly those that emphasize comfort and relaxation. However, no modern hotel can quite match the peaceful ambience and deeply rooted traditions of a ryokan. For many, a stay at a ryokan isn't just about comfort. It's about experiencing a way of life, a connection to nature, and an immersion in Japanese culture. Having experienced the calming hospitality of a traditional ryokan, it's time to move westward once again, but this time to a much different kind of hospitality. An early hotel system in the heart of the world's greatest empires, the Mansio system of ancient Rome. Picture yourself now in the thriving Roman Empire, surrounded by monumental stone structures and grand architecture. The streets are busy, filled with soldiers, merchants and travellers from all corners of the empire. You've been travelling along Roman roads for what seems like ages, and now you've reached your destination, the great city of Rome, or perhaps a smaller town along the empire's vast road network. You're tired, your feet aching, but you know that relief is near because, just like the Romans, the infrastructure for travel is ahead of its time. Welcome to the world of the Mansio, the earliest prototype of the modern hotel. The Mansio was a type of guest house or inn used by Roman citizens, traders and imperial officials. These were not luxury establishments, but they provided essential services for travellers, ensuring safe shelter, food and respite for those making long journeys along the Roman roads. These inns were part of the larger Roman road system, with designated mansiones, plural of mansio, situated every 15 to 20 miles or so, perfectly spaced for travellers to rest, recover and continue their journey. This strategic placement of inns, alongside the efficiency of Roman roads, allowed for the rapid movement of the Roman legions and goods across the empire, cementing Rome's status as one of the most advanced civilizations in terms of infrastructure. Now, imagine stepping into a mancio after a long day's travel. The air smells of fresh bread and roasting meat as the sounds of bustling patrons and the clinking of ceramic mugs fill the room. You'd be greeted by an innkeeper, perhaps an older Roman soldier or a retired merchant, who would offer you a simple meal, a place to sleep, and a sense of safety in a sometimes unpredictable world. Though the mansio lacked the comforts of a modern hotel, it was functional and efficient. The rooms were often shared with other travellers, with simple beds and minimal privacy. But the mansio was still a significant step forward from the humble guest houses of earlier civilizations. It provided more than just shelter. It was a place to refuel, rest, and prepare for the journey ahead. The mansio system was vital to the Roman Empire's dominance. It allowed not only for the transportation of goods, but also for the rapid movement of the military. The empire's vast network of roads and inns enabled Roman soldiers to cover large distances quickly, making Rome's military campaigns effective and fast-paced. However, this also meant that these inns were places where soldiers, traders and civilians interacted, often creating a vibrant mix of languages, cultures and activities. The mansio was, in a sense, an early microcosm of the multicultural Roman Empire itself, where different peoples came together for brief moments during their travels. Historians still argue over the exact amenities offered by a mansio, and whether all travellers had access to the same services. Some scholars suggest that mansions in wealthier cities were better equipped, providing more comfort and privacy, while others maintain that the quality of services varied depending on the location and resources of the town or city. Regardless, what remains clear is that the mansio system greatly improved travel across the Roman world, laying the foundation for the hotel systems that would emerge in the Middle Ages and beyond. Unlike the sacred and spiritual stays at Egyptian temples or the intimate family-driven inns of ancient Greece, the Roman mansio system was much more utilitarian. These places were designed to keep people moving. Yet, even in their practicality, there was an element of Roman hospitality, a sense that the empire cared for its citizens and travellers by providing them with the means to rest, recover and continue their journey. The sound of a mansio was one of commerce and military strategy. The clatter of carts, the hum of activity, and the inevitable background chatter of travellers swapping stories and news from far-off lands. The system was revolutionary for its time, and its influence can be seen in the development of later inns and hotels, which would take inspiration from the mansio as they evolved. The idea that lodging should be both functional and essential to the infrastructure of a society became a key tenet of how future hospitality would be organised. Even though the mansio did not offer the luxury or refined service of later hotels, it was a symbol of the Roman Empire's ability to integrate practicality with hospitality, making it possible for people to travel across vast distances without sacrificing basic comfort or security. As the Roman Empire expanded and then eventually fell, the mansio system faded, but its legacy remained. The modern concept of a hotel, places where travellers could rest, sleep and get food, would build on the foundations laid by the Romans, with the mansio as one of its first predecessors. The sound of Roman roads, the hum of activity in the mansio, and the sense of security it offered, travellers set the stage for what would eventually become a global system of hospitality, complete with its own rules and services. Next, we'll travel to the Middle Ages, where inns became a central part of the journey, catering to pilgrims, tradesmen and kings alike, as the concept of hospitality would evolve yet again. As we leave the bustling mansios of ancient Rome and venture into the medieval period, we enter a world where travel is not only a physical journey but a spiritual one as well. Picture yourself in 12th century Europe, where roads are still rough and travellers are few and far between. The concept of travel during this time is vastly different from what we're used to today. Journeys are often long, difficult, and filled with uncertainty, and finding a safe, comfortable place to stay is more of a challenge than ever. Yet, the medieval world had its own unique approach to hospitality, one that would lay the foundation for the inns and hotels of the future. In the medieval period, inns became an integral part of European life, especially for the many pilgrims travelling to sacred sites like Jerusalem, Rome, and Santiago de Compostela. These inns were not simply places to sleep, they were spaces where travellers could rest, receive food and shelter, and find community with others on similar journeys. Whether you were a knight on a crusade, a merchant travelling along the trade routes, or a simple peasant making a pilgrimage to a shrine, inns served as vital stops along the way. The soundscape of these inns was a cacophony of voices, the clinking of tankards, the crackling of fires, and the laughter and chatter of travellers exchanging stories. Unlike the mancios of Rome, which were typically operated by the state or military, medieval inns were often run by private individuals or monasteries. Many monasteries, especially those along pilgrimage routes, opened their doors to pilgrims in need of rest and sustenance. These monastery inns were simple, offering basic food and lodging in exchange for prayer or a small donation. The monks, acting as hosts, would often offer food to pilgrims such as bread, cheese and hearty stews to nourish their bodies after long days of walking. Historians still debate whether these inns were run more by religious institutions or by lay people. Some argue that religious orders dominated the inns, given their spiritual role in guiding pilgrims, while others suggest that secular inns grew as the demand for lodging increased with the rise of trade and pilgrimage. Regardless of who ran them, these medieval inns became places of safety and solidarity, where travellers found respite from the dangers of the road. The accommodations in these inns, however, were far from luxurious. Rooms were often shared with strangers, and privacy was a luxury few could afford. Travellers slept on simple straw mats, or in rough-hewn wooden beds, with little more than a blanket to keep them warm. The inns themselves were basic stone or timber structures, often smelling of smoke from the fire used for cooking and heating. The sounds of snoring, murmured prayers, and the occasional clink of coins or plates filled the air. While the inns of this period weren't designed for comfort, they were crucial to the functioning of medieval society, providing much-needed services for those who travelled across the land. For merchants, the inns served not just as places to sleep, but as crucial hubs for conducting business. Travelling traders would often bring goods to exchange or sell, and inns provided the perfect space for these transactions to occur. The exchange of goods and information was a constant hum in these inns, and they became essential spaces for economic activity. Similarly, inns along major trade routes would often be located near markets or crossroads, making them central points of commerce. Pilgrims, however, were more focused on the spiritual journey than the material comforts of their lodging. These pilgrims saw inns not as hotels for leisure, but as places of shelter along a journey of faith. For many, the act of staying at these inns was tied to the religious significance of their travels, and the inn itself became a part of their pilgrimage experience. The sounds in these inns might have been quieter than those in merchant-filled establishments, with pilgrims gathering around the fire, sharing their stories of devotion and struggle. Interestingly, as the medieval period continued, inns began to evolve into more commercialized establishments, especially in the cities. As trade routes expanded and towns grew, the demand for more sophisticated lodging grew as well. By the late Middle Ages, some inns began to offer more private rooms, better food, and a higher standard of service. These early signs of luxury in inns were the precursors to the hotels of the Renaissance and beyond, setting the stage for the more structured hospitality industry we would eventually see in the modern world. Even so, the concept of innkeeping remained closely tied to the culture of the road, rough, informal, and sometimes unpredictable. Whether it was a quiet monk offering a bed to a pilgrim or a bustling innkeeper, greeting traders with a warm meal, the medieval inn was, in many ways, an embodiment of the community spirit that defined medieval travel. It was a place where the journey itself was just as important as the destination. As we continue our journey through the history of hospitality, we'll explore how the evolution of these inns and the rise of wealthy travel would ultimately lead to the emergence of true luxury hotels in the Renaissance period. But for now, let's reflect on how these simple, humble inns laid the groundwork for the complex, diverse world of accommodations that would follow in the centuries to come. As we move from the bustling inns of medieval Europe to the heights of the Renaissance, we begin to see the transformation of hospitality from simple shelters into more refined, organized establishments. Imagine yourself walking through the grand city of Florence or Venice, where the streets are alive with traders, artists, and wealthy merchants. The Renaissance is in full swing, and Europe is experiencing a cultural rebirth. Art, literature, science, and trade are flourishing, and with them the world of travel and hospitality is evolving. No longer are travellers confined to humble inns or the occasional monastery guesthouse. Now the stage is set for the birth of what we would recognise as the first true hotels. In the Renaissance, Europe's growing wealth, thanks to booming trade routes, colonial expansion, and the rise of the merchant class, created a new breed of traveller, the wealthy elite. These were not just pilgrims or merchants, but noblemen, aristocrats, and foreign dignitaries who expected more than the bare minimum in their accommodations. As European cities became centres of commerce and culture, the demand for lodging that matched the elegance and sophistication of the time began to rise. Enter the world of the albergo, the Italian term for hotel, that began to pop up in the larger cities. These early hotels were often housed in stately buildings, designed to impress and cater to the wealthy travellers who could afford them. The rise of the albergo in cities like Florence and Venice marked a significant shift in the history of hospitality. These establishments began offering private rooms, more luxurious furnishings, and finer services than their predecessors. Instead of shared sleeping spaces with strangers, guests were now offered rooms of their own, complete with beds that were far more comfortable than the straw mats of earlier inns. The service was more refined, and meals were better quality, often served in elegant dining rooms where guests could indulge in the finer tastes of Italian cuisine. The sounds inside these early hotels were far less chaotic than the inns of the Middle Ages. The clinking of silverware, the murmur of polite conversation, and the soft rustling of silk and velvet replaced the clatter of trading and the hurried movements of travellers. Historians still debate whether these early hotels were truly the beginning of the modern hotel industry, or if they were simply luxury inns dressed up in finer attire. What's clear is that the albergo system set the stage for a larger, more organised approach to hospitality. The wealthy guests who stayed at these early hotels were often treated like royalty, with staff waiting on their every need, and services that included not just food and shelter, but entertainment and personal care. This was a far cry from the more communal inns of the past. Here, the focus was on individual comfort and exclusivity. As the Renaissance continued and the demand for travel grew, these early hotels began to evolve into larger, more complex establishments. Cities like Paris, London, and Madrid saw the rise of what would become more formal hotel establishments, places where anyone with the right amount of coin could find a room, rather than just the wealthy elite. These hotels, while still a far cry from the palatial resorts of the 19th and 20th centuries, were beginning to show the potential for a new kind of hospitality, one that balanced both comfort and luxury. During this period, one of the most important developments in hotel history occurred, the establishment of the Hôtel de Luxe. French-speaking travellers coined the term for a new class of hotels that aimed to offer not only comfort, but also a refined level of luxury. This concept would become central to the development of the modern hotel. Hotels in Paris, such as the Hôtel de Ville and the Hôtel de Louvre, began offering services that went far beyond the basic essentials. Guests could expect large, ornate rooms, lavish decor, fine dining, and the option to indulge in recreational luxuries such as theatre performances or dance halls. The concept of luxury began to take shape during this time. However, the definition of luxury was still tied to the cultural ideals of the time: elegance, artistry, and an appreciation for the finer things in life. A stay at one of these hotels was not just about resting your head. It was about experiencing a new level of societal status and enjoying the fruits of a growing global economy. By the late 17th and early 18th centuries, the influence of these early hotels spread beyond Europe. As European empires expanded into the Americas, the Caribbean, and Asia, the concept of luxurious accommodations followed. The grand hotels of Paris and Venice became the models for new hotels in colonial cities, where wealthy travellers and merchants could expect a similar level of comfort, service, and status. The sounds of these early hotels were filled with the whispers of old-world sophistication and the click of gold-trimmed doorknobs, but they also hinted at the way the hotel industry would continue to evolve, as travellers from all over the world would soon be demanding even more, from private suites to bathhouses, from gardens to museums, all as part of the hotel experience. The birth of these early luxury hotels paved the way for the grand hotels of the 19th century, which would take this evolving concept of hospitality and push it to new heights. These early forays into luxury set the standard for what was to come. Large, extravagant hotels that catered to the wealthy elite, complete with every service and comfort imaginable. The sound of history in these first hotels is the soft rustle of fine fabrics, the clink of delicate glassware, and the quiet hum of servants working diligently to fulfill the whims of their aristocratic guests. The story of hotels during the Renaissance, however, wasn't just about luxury. It was about the beginning of an era of global travel, commerce, and exchange, and the need for safe, comfortable places for travellers to rest, places that offered both physical shelter and a taste of local culture, would continue to grow. In the next chapter of this tale, we'll see how the Industrial Revolution would forever change the hotel industry, bringing with it a flood of new possibilities for travel, comfort, and luxury. As we move from the opulent albergo of the Renaissance into the Industrial Age, the world of travel and hospitality begins to change on a scale never before imagined. Picture yourself in the late 18th century, where the world is on the cusp of transformation. The Industrial Revolution has just begun to reshape society. Factories are rising in cities, steam engines are pushing the limits of transportation, and the rapid expansion of industry is changing everything. But as the world becomes more connected and people begin to travel farther and faster than ever before, there's a rising need for places to rest and rejuvenate that can keep up with these advancements. Enter the age of the Grand Hotel, a bold new approach to hospitality that was born out of the Industrial Age. The Industrial Revolution introduced new technologies and infrastructure that made travel quicker, easier, and more accessible. Railroads began crisscrossing Europe and the United States, making it possible for people to travel vast distances in a matter of hours rather than days or weeks. As the steam engine-powered trains, the demand for accommodations to match the new speed and volume of travel grew exponentially. The old inns and guesthouses were simply no longer enough to accommodate the increasing number of travellers, and the stage was set for a revolution in hospitality. The first grand hotels of the 19th century were born during this period of rapid industrialization. These early hotels were massive, elegant, and designed to accommodate the growing numbers of wealthy travellers who could now afford to travel in style. In cities like Paris, London, and New York, grand hotels like the Hôtel de Paris and the Astor House began to offer luxury and services on a scale never seen before. You could imagine stepping into one of these lavish hotels, your senses overwhelmed by the grandeur of marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and beautifully decorated rooms. These hotels had everything: private rooms, sumptuous dining rooms, ballrooms, and, for the first time, ensuite bathrooms with running water. What made these hotels revolutionary was their attention to luxury and comfort. For the first time, guests could expect a level of service and refinement that was previously reserved only for the wealthiest members of society. Hotels became not just places to sleep, but experiences in themselves. The sound of these early hotels was a far cry from the quiet intimacy of ancient inns or the communal buzz of medieval accommodations. Instead, the sounds of grand hotels were filled with the bustling voices of servants attending to guests, the soft clink of silverware, the rustling of silk dresses, and the sound of piano music drifting from the ballroom. The Grand Hotel was also a symbol of modernity, built with the latest in technological advancements. The hotel's infrastructure was designed to cater to the conveniences of modern life. Electricity, running water, and early forms of heating systems were introduced into these hotels, allowing them to offer comfort on a scale that had previously been unimaginable. These hotels were not just about offering food and shelter. They were about showcasing the possibilities of industrial technology and the sophistication of the modern world. Yet, even with the rise of grand hotels, the humble origins of the hotel industry were still present. While these new hotels were designed for the wealthy, they also began to cater to a broader range of travellers. The 19th century saw the emergence of what could be considered the first modern hotel chains. As railroads expanded, so too did the need for consistent, reliable accommodations across regions. Companies like Thomas Cook in Britain began to create a network of hotels that offered standardized services to travellers. This was the beginning of the modern hotel chain, which would later become a global phenomenon. Historians still debate the true origins of the Grand Hotel and whether they were the natural evolution of the albergo or the beginning of a completely new concept in hospitality. What is clear, however, is that these 19th century hotels were pivotal in shaping the future of travel. They were a symbol of an era that celebrated progress, opulence, and the idea that travel was no longer just for the elite, but for anyone who could afford it. These grand hotels weren't just places to sleep. They were experiences in themselves, offering a taste of the luxury and refinement that characterized the industrial age. In addition to their physical grandeur, these hotels also began to serve as cultural hubs, places where people from all over the world would come together to exchange ideas, build networks, and entertain. The hotel bar or dining room became the gathering place for high society. Celebrities, politicians, and artists could be found in the lobbies, discussing the latest news or enjoying the company of fellow travellers. Hotels were not just places to rest. They were places where the world came together, united by the luxury of travel and the promise of what the future held. As we reflect on the grand hotels of the 19th century, it's fascinating to see how they laid the foundation for the modern hotel industry. They were the first true luxury accommodations designed to accommodate the needs of wealthy travellers while also serving as symbols of a new industrialised world. The sounds of the grand hotels, voices murmuring, dishes clattering, and the soft piano music playing in the background are the echoes of an era that would continue to shape the way we think about travel and hospitality for centuries to come. Next, we'll explore how the early 20th century brought even more transformation to the hotel industry, from the rise of the hotel chain to the development of the first truly modern hotels that would cater to a global audience. The grand hotels of the 19th century were truly the epitome of luxury and elegance, but as we head into the 20th century, the world of travel and accommodation was about to change dramatically. The first 2 decades of the 20th century marked the dawn of a new era for hotels, one that would not only redefine luxury but make travel accessible to an even broader audience. As the world became more connected through technological innovations like the airplane, railroads, and the rise of the automobile, the need for standardized, high-quality hotels across the globe grew exponentially. Enter the age of the modern hotel chain. The idea of a hotel chain wasn't new, but it was during the early 20th century that it truly took off. The rapid expansion of railroads and the growing middle class made it easier for people to travel, and the demand for reliable, comfortable, and affordable accommodations exploded. With the rise of automobiles, car-friendly motels, and roadside inns also gained popularity. But the luxury hotel chains were where the true transformation of the hospitality industry was happening. These chains offered travellers consistency, familiarity, and high standards, all while maintaining the elegance and opulence that had come to define the hotel experience. The sounds of this new age of hotels were distinctly different from the grand hotels of the past. Gone were the days of individual one-off hotels built by wealthy patrons or aristocrats. The hotel chains were designed for mass appeal, offering luxury in a standardized form. Imagine walking into one of the early 20th century luxury hotels, such as the Ritz-Carlton in New York or the Waldorf Astoria. The marble floors gleam beneath your feet, and the sounds of the bustling lobby fill the air. You can hear the soft hum of guests conversing in various languages, the distant clink of fine china in the dining room, and the low murmur of the concierge greeting new arrivals. At the heart of this transformation was César Ritz, often called the King of Hoteliers. His establishment of the Ritz-Carlton brand in Paris in 1898 was a landmark moment in the history of hotels. Ritz created a new standard of luxury, where impeccable service, attention to detail, and sumptuous surroundings became the norm. His hotels were not just places to stay, they were experiences in themselves, with the aim of providing guests with a sense of royalty and comfort. It was under Ritz's influence that the concept of the luxury hotel chain truly began to take shape. The sound of a Ritz-Carlton hotel, whether in Paris or New York, became synonymous with the highest level of hospitality. The soft tap of a bellboy's shoes on the marble floors, the rustle of white-gloved staff tending to every need, and the quiet hum of luxury surrounding guests created an atmosphere that was both opulent and welcoming. With the establishment of other prominent hotel chains in the early 20th century, such as Hilton and Intercontinental, travellers could expect a level of consistency that had previously been impossible. No longer did a traveller need to wonder about the quality of their lodging when they arrived at a new city. If you stayed at a Hilton in New York, you could expect the same high standard of service, amenities, and comfort that you'd receive in Chicago, London, or Tokyo. These chains revolutionized travel by giving people a sense of familiarity, even in unfamiliar places. The sounds of these hotels were more uniform, but there was still an underlying hum of luxury that made every stay feel like an indulgence. Yet even as the hotel industry expanded and became more standardized, it was still a world of exclusivity. Only the wealthy elite could afford the luxurious rooms of the grand hotels, and the concept of personal service remained at the forefront of the hotel experience. But the 20th century brought a new kind of traveller, one who sought comfort and affordability, but not necessarily the opulence that had characterized earlier eras. With the rise of the middle class, the need for more affordable options grew, and the hotel industry began to diversify. This led to the development of budget hotel chains and motels, offering travellers a different experience that was more focused on convenience and price, rather than luxury and elegance. The motel, an offshoot of the hotel chain, began to rise in popularity in the 1920s and 1930s, particularly in the United States. The advent of the automobile made long-distance travel easier, and motels offered a convenient, affordable option for road-weary travellers. Imagine yourself in the 1920s, driving down Route 66 or along the vast highways of America. You pull off the road at a brightly lit motel, where you're greeted with a warm smile and a simple room where you can rest your head for the night. The sounds here are more modest, perhaps the hum of air conditioning, or the soft clink of change as you pay for your stay. While these motels may not have had the grandeur of their luxury hotel counterparts, they represented a major shift in the way people travelled, making overnight stays more accessible and less formal. As the world continued to change, so did the hotel industry. The rise of modern travel agencies, tour operators, and airline networks during the mid-20th century would only continue to fuel the demand for both luxury and budget accommodations. The hotel industry was no longer just about catering to the elite. It was about serving a diverse group of travellers, each with their own needs and budgets. The sounds of the hotel industry shifted once again, this time to encompass a wider variety of experiences, from budget motels along highways to grand resorts that promised relaxation, adventure, and leisure. By the late 20th century, hotel chains had expanded globally, and the idea of luxury had evolved once again. No longer limited to the elite, luxury hotels began to cater to a broader audience, offering unique experiences and indulgent services for a variety of guests. The sounds of modern hotels, ranging from boutique hotels in Paris to sprawling resorts in the Caribbean, echoed with the same energy and excitement of an industry that was constantly reinventing itself. The birth of hotel chains, with their focus on consistency, service and luxury, marked a pivotal moment in the history of hospitality. What started as the simple, humble inns of ancient times had evolved into global empires that spanned continents and catered to all types of travellers. The story of hotels, from the ancient Mancio to the grand hotel chains of the 20th century, shows how deeply hospitality is tied to human progress, always evolving, always adapting, and always seeking to meet the needs of those who travel in search of rest, comfort, and new experiences. As we now find ourselves in the late 20th and early 21st centuries, the world of hotels has undergone yet another dramatic shift. The massive, standardized hotel chains of the previous century remain vital to the industry, but a new wave of accommodations is emerging, changing how we think about travel and hospitality. Picture yourself in a vibrant city like New York, Tokyo, or Paris. You could easily book a stay in a massive hotel chain, where the services are predictably luxurious and the amenities top-notch. But now a new wave of smaller, more personal lodging options is available, offering more unique, individualized experiences. The sounds of the modern hotel world aren't just about the hum of air conditioners and the clink of silverware. They now include the buzz of creativity, innovation, and personalization. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, we saw the rise of boutique hotels, a new kind of establishment that focused on style, design, and the unique needs of guests. These boutique hotels, often smaller in size, offered a departure from the cookie-cutter feel of large hotel chains. Instead of the usual standardized furnishings and service, boutique hotels embraced individuality. Think of a hotel with themed rooms, locally inspired decor, and personalized experiences that make you feel as if you're stepping into a world of creative luxury. The sounds in these hotels are different. There's the ambient sound of unique music playing in the lobby, the soft clink of a cocktail being made at a hip hotel bar, and the quiet murmur of guests who are looking for more than just a bed for the night. In these spaces, the goal is to provide not just comfort, but a distinctive experience that reflects the local culture, the design of the hotel, and the personality of the guest. The growth of boutique hotels, especially in major urban centres, has been fueled by the rise of the experience economy. More and more travellers are looking for more than just a place to sleep. They want an experience that connects them to the destination they're visiting. It's no longer enough to simply provide a comfortable bed and a clean bathroom. Hotels now need to offer unique experiences, whether it's a rooftop bar with breathtaking views, a curated art collection in the lobby, or a spa offering one-of-a-kind treatments. The sounds of these hotels are filled with creativity, excitement, and the hum of a new kind of hospitality that's centered around personal experiences. At the same time, the rise of digital technology and the sharing economy has introduced another revolutionary shift in how we experience hospitality: Airbnb. While not technically a hotel, Airbnb has changed the way people think about accommodations. The service allows people to rent out their homes or apartments to travellers, creating opportunities for guests to stay in more personal, often less expensive, and highly individualised spaces. Whether you're staying in a cosy apartment in Paris, a beachfront villa in Bali, or a treehouse in Costa Rica, Airbnb offers an entirely new way to experience travel. The sounds of these stays are different from the traditional hotel. Instead of the distant hum of elevators and the chime of room service, you might hear the sounds of a local neighbourhood, the chatter of vendors, the hum of traffic, the soft rustle of leaves in a private garden. It's a more intimate, personalised experience where you feel more like a part of the local community than just a guest. However, this shift towards more personalised accommodations doesn't mean that traditional hotels are losing their relevance. The modern hotel industry is continuing to evolve, with major chains embracing the trends of individuality and customization. Hotels now offer a range of experiences, from themed rooms to locally inspired dining options, that cater to the growing demand for unique and immersive travel experiences. As we look forward to the future of hospitality, it's clear that the hotel industry is continuing to adapt, integrating the convenience of technology with the desire for authentic experiences. In the realm of luxury, the 21st century has seen the rise of boutique luxury hotels, which blend the exclusivity and refinement of traditional luxury hotels with the creativity and local flair of boutique properties. These hotels offer a high level of personalised service, often with fewer rooms and more attention to detail than the large luxury chains. They're places where guests feel like VIPs, with bespoke experiences tailored to their desires. Whether it's a private guided tour, a personalised tasting menu, or a hand-picked selection of pillows and linens, these boutique luxury hotels offer a level of indulgence that goes beyond the basics. The sounds in these spaces are quieter, more refined. The soft tap of staff attending to guests, the sound of personalised service in every interaction, and the whisper of luxury surrounding you at every turn. As we move into the future, it's clear that hotels are no longer just places to sleep. They are becoming hubs of experiences, places where the design, ambience and services come together to create something memorable. The hotel of tomorrow might be smart, equipped with the latest technology for comfort and convenience, but it will also continue to prioritise the personal touch, the connection to place, and the creation of unique experiences for each guest. Whether it's through high-tech amenities, locally inspired decor, or fully personalised services, the future of hotels promises to be a harmonious blend of the old and the new. So, when you think about the sounds of the hotels in the future, what will you hear? Perhaps it will be the quiet hum of personalised service, the soft murmur of fellow travellers sharing their experiences, or the tap of a touchscreen unlocking your door. The hotel industry will continue to evolve, shaped by the same forces that have driven it from the first simple guest houses of Mesopotamia to the grand palaces of modern luxury. And just as the sounds of the past have echoed through the ages, so too will the sound of history reverberate in the hotels of tomorrow. Now that we've seen how the hotel industry has evolved through the ages, we arrive at the present day, where the landscape of global hospitality is more diverse, accessible, and innovative than ever. It's no longer just about luxury or convenience. It's about offering experiences that cater to the broad spectrum of travellers, from the budget-conscious wanderer to the luxury-seeking elite. We've seen the rise of boutique hotels, Airbnb, luxury chains, and the convergence of high-tech amenities with personalised services, but what happens next? What does the future of hotels look like as we continue to innovate and push the boundaries of what it means to stay away from home. In the present era, the global hotel industry has embraced the concept of sustainability like never before. Travellers are becoming increasingly conscious of the environmental impact of their trips, and many hotels are responding by adopting eco-friendly practices. Imagine yourself stepping into a modern hotel that prides itself on being sustainable. As you enter, you notice that the lights are dimmed to a warm, cosy glow, powered by renewable energy. The air smells fresh, thanks to advanced air filtration systems that minimize energy use. Even the furniture is made from recycled materials, and the hotel's food sources are locally sourced, reducing its carbon footprint. The sounds of sustainability in this hotel aren't just the subtle whir of energy-efficient systems. They're the sense of responsibility and care that permeates the entire experience, making you feel as though you're part of something greater, an effort to preserve the planet while still indulging in the pleasures of modern travel. The growing demand for eco-conscious travel has pushed the hotel industry to integrate green technologies into their operations. From solar panels and energy-efficient lighting to water-saving bathroom fixtures and biodegradable amenities, hotels today are taking bold steps to minimize their environmental footprint. Some have even gone as far as implementing waste reduction systems such as eliminating single-use plastics, offering refillable toiletries, and composting organic waste. The sound of these new eco-friendly hotels is quieter, not just in the physical sense, but in their call for a more mindful and conscientious approach to hospitality. However, sustainability isn't the only aspect defining the future of hotels. The digital age has transformed the way people experience accommodations. Smart hotels are on the rise, where technology seamlessly integrates into every aspect of your stay. From keyless entry, which allows you to open your hotel room door with your smartphone, to room controls that allow you to adjust lighting, temperature, and even the curtains via a tablet, the future of hotels is becoming increasingly automated and personalized. The sounds of these high-tech hotels are filled with the quiet clicks and beeps of devices, each serving to enhance your experience and make your stay as convenient and enjoyable as possible. You might enter your room, and immediately the lights and temperature adjust to your preference, or you might request your favorite pillow type or room service with just a few taps on your phone. One of the most exciting innovations in the future of hotels is the rise of virtual concierge services. Imagine arriving at a hotel where there's no front desk. Instead, you have a personal virtual assistant who can help you with anything from restaurant reservations to local activities, all through an app or voice-controlled device. The sound of these virtual assistants might be a gentle, calming voice guiding you through your stay, or the comforting silence of a system that anticipates your needs before you even ask. These virtual assistants can not only help with the basics, but can offer personalized recommendations based on your preferences, ensuring a completely tailored experience during your stay. Another major shift we are seeing is the growing demand for experiential hotels, places that immerse guests in local culture, provide unique activities, or offer services that go beyond traditional hospitality. Imagine staying at a hotel where the walls are adorned with local art, where the food is inspired by traditional regional recipes, and where you can participate in local crafts or culinary workshops. These hotels aim to provide more than just a place to sleep. They offer an opportunity to connect with the destination in a meaningful way. The sounds of these experiential hotels are filled with the bustle of hands-on activities, the sizzling of local delicacies being prepared, and the chatter of fellow guests sharing experiences in a more intimate setting. Additionally, we are witnessing the rise of wellness hotels, which focus on holistic well-being. These hotels offer not just physical rest, but mental and emotional rejuvenation as well. Guests can enjoy everything from yoga and meditation sessions to spa treatments and mindfulness programs. The sounds in these spaces are calming. Soft spa music, the soothing tones of guided meditations, and the quiet murmurs of guests reflecting in peaceful environments. It's not just about relaxation. It's about taking care of the whole person, inside and out. As the world becomes more fast-paced and stressful, wellness hotels provide the perfect escape, where guests can prioritize their health and wellness while indulging in comfort. Looking ahead, the future of hotels promises to be an exciting blend of high-tech innovation and human-centered hospitality. We'll likely see the continued expansion of smart, sustainable and experiential accommodations that cater to the diverse needs of travelers in ways we've never imagined. Virtual reality may even make its way into the hotel experience, offering guests the ability to take virtual tours of destinations before they arrive, or perhaps even transforming their hotel rooms into immersive environments that transport them to distant places. However, amid all these technological advancements, one thing remains clear. The core of hospitality, the genuine care for guests and the desire to offer comfort and respite, will always be the beating heart of the hotel industry. Whether through the latest innovations in sustainability or the most advanced digital tools, the essence of a good hotel experience will always come down to one thing: making people feel welcome, cared for, and at ease. The sounds of the future hotel experience may be different, filled with the hum of technology and the rustle of eco-conscious linens, but at its core it will still be about offering travellers a space to rest, recharge, and create memories. From the simple guest houses of Mesopotamia to the high-tech luxury hotels of tomorrow, the evolution of the hotel industry reflects humanity's ongoing need for connection, comfort, and a place to call home, no matter where in the world we are. As we now peer into the future of hospitality, the world of hotels continues to evolve in unexpected and exciting ways. The relentless march of technological advancement, coupled with a deepening desire for personalised, unique travel experiences, promises to shape the hotel industry for years to come. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a moment to reflect on one of the most revolutionary shifts in modern hotels: the digital guest experience. With mobile apps, smart assistants, and data-driven services, the way we engage with hotels is changing rapidly, and this shift is pushing the boundaries of what we think a hotel can offer. Imagine arriving at a hotel, and instead of checking in at a crowded front desk, you walk straight into a sleek lobby, where you're greeted by a smiling digital assistant. You check in using your smartphone or tablet, your room key is sent straight to your device, and even your room's temperature and lighting are automatically adjusted to your preferences. You can seamlessly request anything you need, from extra towels to restaurant reservations, all from your phone, without ever having to pick up the phone or leave your room. In this modern hotel, the sounds are no longer filled with the clatter of keys and paper forms, but are replaced by the soft clicks of screens, the quiet hum of automated systems, and the occasional ding of a notification. Technology, which once seemed distant and impersonal, is now woven into every aspect of the hotel experience, making it smoother, more efficient, and infinitely more customized. But with all these innovations, one of the most important aspects of the future hotel experience will be balancing this new tech-driven world with a sense of human warmth and connection. While automation certainly provides convenience and personalization, travelers still crave that personal touch. Hotels of the future will have to strike a delicate balance between automation and service that feels warm and authentic. The digital assistant may provide instant responses, but it's the hotel staff, their attention to detail, their smiles, and their genuine care that will keep guests coming back for more. The challenge will be to maintain this human connection while embracing the technological advancements that have redefined the guest experience. As we look further into the future, one of the most exciting developments is the role that artificial intelligence, AI, will play in the hospitality world. AI is already being used in hotels to streamline operations, such as in dynamic pricing models, customer service chatbots, and data analysis for understanding guest preferences. But in the near future, we might see AI take an even more prominent role in the guest experience. Imagine a future where AI-powered personal assistants are more than just tools for ordering room service or adjusting the thermostat. Instead, these assistants could anticipate your needs before you even ask, suggest personalized experiences based on your interests, and even curate itineraries based on local events, weather, and personal preferences. The Internet of Things, IoT, will also be a game changer. In future hotels, you may enter a room where every single element, from the lights and the curtains to the temperature and even the art on the walls, is connected to the internet and adjusts based on your personal preferences. IoT devices will ensure that your stay is as comfortable as possible, making your room a truly smart environment that adapts to your needs in real time. The sound of these smart hotels will be quieter, fewer clunky systems, and more seamless interactions that let you focus on what really matters, your experience. But as much as AI and smart devices promise to enhance the guest experience, there will always be a place for hotels that offer immersive, authentic experiences. These hotels will cater to travelers who are seeking not just a place to sleep, but an experience that transports them into the heart of their destination. In these spaces, technology will be used to enhance the authenticity of the local culture and environment. Imagine staying in a hotel designed to reflect the history, art, and traditions of the place you're visiting, with virtual reality, VR, or augmented reality, AR, experiences that allow you to immerse yourself in the culture long before you step out the door. The sounds here will not just be those of a bustling hotel lobby, but will also include the sounds of the local community, be it the rhythm of a distant drum circle, the chatter of market vendors, or the hum of a local festival. The fusion of cutting-edge technology with immersive cultural experiences will create a new dimension of travel where every guest can feel truly connected to the place they're visiting. As these futuristic hotels emerge, sustainability will remain a central theme. Many of the leading hotel chains are already investing in sustainable practices, and in the future, we can expect to see even more eco-friendly innovations. From energy-efficient buildings and zero-waste initiatives to sustainable food sourcing and green building certifications, the hotels of tomorrow will be built with an eye toward environmental responsibility. Travelers who choose these hotels will have the satisfaction of knowing they're not just getting a great experience, they're also helping to reduce their carbon footprint and support sustainable tourism. Perhaps one of the most exciting aspects of the future hotel industry is the democratization of luxury. In the past, luxury hotels were reserved for the wealthy elite, but as technology and innovation continue to evolve, the experience of luxury is becoming more accessible. Whether it's through AI-powered concierge services, immersive cultural experiences, or eco-friendly luxury options, the future of hospitality promises to offer a new kind of luxury that caters to a wider audience, one that is more inclusive, diverse, and focused on personal experience. Looking ahead, the hotel industry will continue to grow, adapt, and innovate in response to the changing needs of travelers. The future of hotels will be characterized by seamless integration of technology, personalized service, and sustainable practices, all while embracing the rich, diverse cultural experiences that travelers crave. The sounds of these future hotels will reflect this convergence, quiet, efficient, and tailored to the individual guest. Whether through a virtual concierge or the soft hum of a sustainable system, the hotels of tomorrow promise to provide more than just a place to sleep. They will offer a window into the future of hospitality itself. As we venture deeper into the future of hotels, we find that technology is not just shaping the physical aspects of accommodations, but also the way we experience travel itself. The digital revolution is touching every part of the hospitality industry, and it's clear that the next big leap for hotels is the seamless integration of technology with personal, real-world experiences. This means that the hotel of tomorrow won't simply offer a room to sleep in. It will provide a fully customized, immersive, and highly personalized experience that feels as though it's made just for you. Think about it. You arrive at the hotel of the future, and as soon as you walk through the door, a smart system recognizes your face, or perhaps your voice, and greets you by name. Your personal preferences, everything from room temperature to the type of pillows you prefer, have already been programmed into the system. Your favorite music is playing softly in the background, and a preset ambient lighting adjusts to your mood. The check-in process is a breeze, completed instantly via facial recognition or through a quick app on your phone. There's no paperwork to fill out, no waiting in line, just a smooth, effortless experience that caters to your every need. But it doesn't stop at the physical accommodations. In these next-gen hotels, the very experience of being a guest will be tailor-made to your interests, preferences, and even your mood. Imagine booking your stay through an AI-powered platform that not only arranges your room, but also curates an entire itinerary of experiences for you, based on your personal tastes and real-time data. Do you want to explore local art galleries? Your AI assistant knows the best ones in the area and can even arrange for a private tour. Do you crave adventure or perhaps a relaxing wellness retreat? The hotel can provide personalized recommendations for activities that align with your desires, and all of this is orchestrated through the tap of a screen or a simple voice command. In the future, the hotel industry will move beyond just offering a room and food. It will become an ecosystem designed to immerse you in an experience that feels as if it's tailored to you personally. This next generation of hotel services could include advanced forms of augmented reality, AR, and virtual reality, VR, that enhance the way you explore your surroundings. Imagine slipping on a pair of AR glasses and being guided through the hotel's local area with historical context, cultural tips, and insider knowledge popping up on your screen as you walk. Whether it's a virtual tour of a nearby museum, or perhaps a gamified experience that turns the city into an interactive, immersive adventure, technology will allow you to engage with your travel destination in ways that go far beyond the traditional city guidebook. The sounds of the future hotel will be quieter in some ways, fewer loud check-in counters and noisy lobbies, but they'll also be filled with subtle, futuristic sounds. The soft click of your smartphone opening a door to your room, the gentle hum of a robot delivering your room service, and the sound of a virtual assistant greeting you with the latest recommendations will be part of this new travel experience. These future hotels will harness the power of technology to make your stay more personalized, more convenient, and, ultimately, more enjoyable. With this heavy reliance on technology, however, comes an essential question. How can hotels ensure that technology doesn't overshadow the need for human interaction? As much as tech is revolutionizing the hospitality experience, there's still a deep human need for connection, warmth, and empathy in travel. The best hotels of the future will not be the ones that rely solely on technology to serve their guests, but those that seamlessly blend cutting-edge digital advancements with the human touch that makes travel feel truly special. While your AI assistant may be able to help you with nearly everything, from setting the mood lighting in your room to arranging a private cooking class, there will always be moments when you seek genuine human connection. The concierge may not just be a digital screen, but a person who understands the nuances of your needs, someone who can offer recommendations based not just on algorithms, but on personal experience and insight. The future of hospitality will not simply be about technology taking over the human aspect. It will be about enhancing human interaction, giving guests the best of both worlds. A harmonious blend of efficiency, personalization, and genuine human warmth will define the best hotels of tomorrow. Sustainability will also play a huge role in the hotel industry's future. As travelers continue to grow more conscious of their environmental impact, hotels will be at the forefront of eco-friendly innovations. This won't just mean using recycled materials or installing energy-efficient light bulbs, though these practices will certainly continue. It will involve creating entire hotel experiences that are built around sustainability. Imagine staying at a hotel that is fully self-sustaining, drawing its energy from renewable sources, using water from on-site collection systems, and offering zero-waste dining options. The hotel could even have its own organic garden, where ingredients for your meals are grown right on the property. The sounds of these eco-friendly hotels might include the soft hum of solar panels, the quiet rustle of wind turbines, and the peaceful rhythm of sustainability in action. As hotels move toward a greener future, guests will have the satisfaction of knowing their choice to stay there is contributing to a healthier planet. Looking beyond the tangible, the hotel of the future will also be more inclusive. A growing demand for diversity in the hospitality industry means that hotels will need to accommodate a wider variety of needs and preferences than ever before. This could range from offering more accessible rooms for people with disabilities to creating spaces that are more welcoming to people of all races, genders, and cultures. The future hotel will cater to diverse needs by embracing a more inclusive design, allowing guests from all walks of life to feel comfortable and valued. It will not just be about catering to the traditional traveller, but about making the hotel experience universally accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Ultimately, the future of hotels is one that blends innovation, sustainability, and human connection. The advancements in technology will allow for unprecedented personalization and convenience, but the best hotels will always remember that it's the human experience that makes travel truly unforgettable. Whether through the seamless use of AI, the quiet hum of sustainable practices, or the ever-present warmth of a smile from the concierge, the hotels of tomorrow will offer travellers a balance of high-tech comfort and deeply human hospitality. As we continue to look toward the future of hotels, it's clear that innovation and personalization will continue to shape the landscape of the hospitality industry. But as technology advances and the needs of travellers become more diverse, the hotel experience will also evolve in ways that we can only begin to imagine. In the near future, we may witness the development of entirely new types of accommodations, driven by the changing dynamics of travel, the rise of new technologies, and the need for sustainable ethical practices. Picture yourself stepping into a world of futuristic travel options, where hotels blend seamlessly with other sectors of the hospitality ecosystem. offering fully integrated multi-dimensional experiences. One of the most intriguing developments in the future of hotels is the concept of floating hotels or underwater resorts. Imagine waking up to the sound of gentle waves lapping against your room's glass walls, watching schools of fish swim by, or gazing out at the vast ocean horizon right from your bed. Floating hotels, built on large platforms in serene bodies of water, are already beginning to take shape, providing an immersive and luxurious experience for travellers who want to feel completely at one with nature. Similarly, underwater hotels, where guests can stay in rooms submerged beneath the surface of the ocean, are becoming a reality. These futuristic accommodations offer a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to experience life beneath the waves, with breathtaking views of coral reefs, marine life, and vast underwater ecosystems. The soundscape in these environments is unlike anything we've ever experienced in traditional hotels. The sounds are peaceful, almost meditative. The gentle creaking of the structure as it moves with the water, the subtle hum of water filtration systems, and the soothing flow of the ocean surrounding you. These floating and underwater hotels offer a level of immersion in nature that's truly unparalleled. They represent not just a place to stay, but a destination in and of itself, an experience designed to connect guests with the natural world in a way that few other accommodations can. In parallel to these innovative nature-focused hotels, we may also see the rise of space hotels in the not-so-distant future. While the idea of space tourism has been floating around for some time, recent developments in space travel and private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin have made it increasingly plausible that hotels in orbit will soon become a reality. Imagine spending a night in zero gravity, floating among the stars, with a view of Earth from your window. Space hotels will offer a truly otherworldly experience, literally. The sounds here will be unlike anything you've ever heard before. The gentle hum of life support systems, the soft whoosh of air filters, and the eerie silence of space just outside your door. Space hotels will take the idea of hospitality into a realm we can only dream of, providing travellers with the ultimate escape from the world below. While floating and space hotels may seem like concepts straight out of science fiction, the trajectory of technological advancements in the travel and hospitality industries suggests that we may not be far from experiencing these types of accommodations. The future of hotels will be marked by a growing ability to create truly immersive, once-in-a-lifetime experiences for those who seek adventure, luxury, and escape. As these hotels take shape, they will not only redefine what it means to stay in a hotel, they will redefine travel itself, creating entirely new ways for people to connect with the world and beyond. Along with these radical shifts in accommodations, we can also expect hyper-localized hotel experiences. As global travel continues to evolve, there's an increasing demand for hotels that cater not just to the local environment, but to the unique needs and interests of individual travelers. Imagine a hotel that's designed specifically for adventure travelers, offering curated outdoor experiences like hiking, skiing, or scuba diving. Or a hotel that's completely focused on wellness, where guests can receive personalized nutrition plans, access top-tier fitness training, and enjoy in-depth meditation sessions in tranquil, nature-based environments. These hyper-localized hotels will tap into niche markets and cater to people's increasingly specific desires for personalized travel. The sounds in these future hotels will be tailored to their unique environments. Whether it's the wind rustling through alpine trees, the sound of waves crashing against a beachside resort, or the peaceful stillness of a wellness retreat, these experiences will be designed to align perfectly with the guests' interests. The idea of a one-size-fits-all hotel will soon feel outdated as travellers seek out experiences that speak directly to their passions, needs, and values. Another significant development will be the rise of digital nomad hotels. As remote work becomes increasingly common, there is a growing need for accommodations that cater to people who travel while working. These hotels will offer flexible living spaces, equipped with high-speed internet, private workstations, and amenities designed to help guests balance productivity with relaxation. Digital nomads will find themselves in hotels that offer community spaces where they can network with other like-minded individuals, attend events, and create collaborations. The sounds in these hotels will be a mix of focused work, soft typing on keyboards, video calls, and the occasional quiet conversation, and moments of downtime where people can relax, share stories, and recharge before the next day's work. As we continue to look forward, the future of hotels will also be defined by an increasing emphasis on wellness and mental health. The modern world is filled with stress, and travellers are beginning to seek not just physical rest, but a respite for their minds and souls. Hotels that focus on mental wellness will offer spaces designed for relaxation and rejuvenation, with services such as therapy sessions, sound healing, mindfulness practices, and digital detox programs. These hotels will be sanctuaries where guests can unplug from the outside world and find peace within themselves. The sounds in these spaces will be soothing, soft instrumental music, nature sounds, and the quiet rustling of leaves, creating a sense of serenity that allows guests to fully unwind. In summary, the future of hotels is one of endless possibilities. From floating and space hotels to highly personalised accommodations that cater to specific traveller needs, the industry is evolving in ways that are both innovative and inspiring. The experience of staying in a hotel will no longer be limited to a place to sleep. It will become a unique, immersive, and often transformative experience. The sound of the future hotel world will be quieter in some ways, as technology takes on more of the logistical work, but it will also be filled with new kinds of sounds that reflect the experiences of tomorrow. The gentle hum of AI assistants, the soothing sounds of immersive environments, and the sounds of travellers embracing the future of hospitality. As we now take a closer look at the next chapter in the evolution of hotels, we begin to see how personalisation and innovation will shape the very essence of the hotel experience. While the technological advancements we've discussed so far are revolutionary, the future will also be deeply influenced by an increasing desire for customised experiences. Hotels will no longer be generic establishments offering a standard set of services. They will be tailored to the exact preferences of each guest, using data, AI, and real-time information to provide a unique, individualised stay. The very concept of hospitality will evolve, becoming more like a curated journey, where your hotel stay is an integral part of your travel experience. Imagine a future hotel where, upon booking, you're asked about your specific needs and preferences, not just in terms of the room you want, but in terms of experiences, moods, and activities that will enhance your stay. Do you want a zen-like escape with spa treatments and yoga? Or do you crave an adventure-packed trip with guided excursions and outdoor activities? Your preferences are automatically processed, and your entire stay is customized based on the data you've provided. The smart systems of the hotel will know your exact preferences, including how you like your room setup, your favorite foods, your preferred entertainment options, and even your sleeping patterns. By the time you arrive, your room is ready. From the lighting to the temperature, down to the type of music softly playing in the background, all specifically designed for your comfort and pleasure. The sound of these hotels won't be chaotic or impersonal. They will be thoughtfully curated, offering the serenity or excitement you desire tailored just for you. One of the most exciting aspects of these personalised experiences is how hotels will begin to integrate with smart city infrastructure. Imagine checking into a hotel that is seamlessly connected to the city around it. Upon arrival, your smart room could be automatically adjusted based on local weather conditions, offering a perfect escape from the outside world. Your room could even open to breathtaking views of the city skyline, with the lights of the city reflected in the windows, creating a dynamic and immersive experience. But it doesn't stop there. Thanks to AI and real-time data, your hotel could anticipate your needs based on the city's events and activities. For example, if a major concert is happening nearby, your hotel could offer exclusive access to tickets, shuttle services, or a post-concert dining experience. The soundscape here would be a reflection of the city itself, the distant hum of traffic, the vibrant pulse of nightlife, and the constant flow of new experiences just outside your door. It's not just a hotel stay, it's a truly integrated experience that connects you to the pulse of the city around you. As hotels continue to integrate with cities and broader digital ecosystems, another significant development is the rise of autonomous hotels. These hotels will use robots and artificial intelligence to manage check-ins, room service, cleaning, and more. Imagine walking into a hotel lobby where you're greeted not by a human receptionist, but by a polite, efficient robot who checks you in with a smile, or perhaps a digital face on the robot's screen. Once in your room, you might interact with a robot butler who can bring you anything you need, from extra towels to snacks, all without human intervention. The sounds in these hotels will be quieter, as automation takes over many of the functions traditionally handled by hotel staff. Instead of the hustle and bustle of busy front desks, You'll hear the soft whir of automated systems making your stay as smooth and efficient as possible. However, this automation does not mean the end of human interaction. Instead, it's about allowing humans to focus on the experience, while robots and AI handle the more mundane tasks. The hotel staff, though fewer in number, will be there to offer personal touches, provide local recommendations, and create the emotional connections that technology simply can't replicate. The future hotel experience will be a blend of convenience and personalization, where technology provides ease and human hospitality provides the warmth and connection that make a stay truly memorable. A key part of the future hotel experience will also be the increasing focus on health and wellness. As wellness tourism continues to rise, the demand for hotels that offer specialized health programs and restorative services is only going to grow. In the future, hotels will become sanctuaries not just for relaxation, but for rejuvenation, detox, and mental clarity. These wellness-centered hotels will offer state-of-the-art fitness centers, spa services, organic dining options, and wellness workshops, such as mindfulness training, meditation, and stress management. The sounds of these wellness hotels will be soothing. Gentle music, the trickle of water features, and the soft rustling of leaves from indoor plants. These hotels will cater to a new generation of travelers who are looking for a holistic escape, prioritizing both their physical and mental well-being while traveling. Whether you're looking for a full detox retreat or simply a weekend of relaxation, these hotels will provide everything you need to recharge, both body and soul. Additionally, the demand for well-being-based accommodations will likely lead to the rise of sleep-focused hotels. Designed specifically to help guests achieve the best sleep of their lives, these hotels will feature soundproofed rooms, advanced mattresses that adjust to your body's needs, and ambient lighting systems designed to promote a natural circadian rhythm. Imagine stepping into a room where everything, from the lighting and temperature to the pillows and blankets, is carefully calibrated to help you sleep deeply and wake up refreshed. The soundscape here is calming. The gentle hum of white noise machines, the faint rustling of soft linens, and the quiet environment that fosters perfect rest. The future of hotels will ultimately be shaped by travelers' increasing desire for personalized, seamless, and experience-driven stays. Technology will continue to play a crucial role in shaping these experiences, but it will always be complemented by the warmth of human service, the care for local culture, and a deep commitment to wellness and sustainability. The sounds of tomorrow's hotels will be a mix of quiet efficiency, ambient comfort, and the subtle hum of technology working behind the scenes to make your stay as pleasant and personalized as possible. As we look forward to the future of hotels, it's clear that the lines between the physical and digital world will continue to blur. Whether it's through advanced AI, fully immersive experiences, or the quest for deeper wellness, the hotel of tomorrow promises to be a place where your every need is anticipated, and your stay is tailored specifically to you. The future is bright, and the hotel industry is poised to lead the way into a new age of hospitality, one that's smarter, more personalized, and more connected than ever before. As we enter the final stretch of our journey through the evolving world of hotels, we come to a pivotal moment, the intersection of personalization, technology, and sustainability. The future of hotels will be defined by how they embrace the need to offer tailored experiences, while also meeting the demands of an increasingly eco-conscious, tech-savvy, and socially responsible global traveller. The sounds of these future hotels will reflect this new harmony between modern convenience and environmental stewardship, quiet, efficient, and deeply in tune with both the needs of their guests and the planet. We've already touched on the growing importance of sustainability in the hotel industry. As travellers become more environmentally conscious, they're seeking accommodations that are not only luxurious but also responsible. The future hotel will be designed with sustainability at its core, offering energy-efficient systems, sustainable materials, and waste-reducing practices that go beyond simple recycling programs. These hotels will operate on renewable energy, make use of water-saving technologies, and offer locally sourced organic foods to guests. Imagine walking into a hotel lobby where the air smells fresh and clean, and the decor is made from repurposed materials. The sounds you hear aren't the hum of overused machinery, but the quiet, deliberate movement of energy-efficient systems working to keep the environment comfortable for guests. You might even hear the faint sound of rainwater harvesting systems, or the gentle flow of water filtration systems that ensure the hotel is both luxurious and environmentally friendly. But sustainability will not just be about how hotels reduce their environmental footprint. It will also be about how they offer travellers meaningful, eco-conscious choices. Many future hotels will be designed with built-in eco-friendly activities for guests. For example, a wellness retreat might encourage guests to participate in gardening or organic farming, while eco-resorts might offer excursions that teach travellers about local environmental conservation efforts. These types of activities will allow guests to immerse themselves in the local environment and leave a positive impact on the places they visit, all while being mindful of their carbon footprint. The sounds in these spaces will include the peaceful rustle of leaves, the soft hum of nature, and the quiet footsteps of guests walking through lush gardens or pristine natural areas. But sustainability is not just about the physical environment. It's also about fostering social responsibility. Hotels in the future will increasingly focus on giving back to the local communities in which they operate. This could include providing employment opportunities, sourcing goods from local artisans, and supporting initiatives that directly benefit the local population. Guests might find themselves invited to participate in community service projects or volunteer opportunities during their stay. The sounds of these hotels will not only be those of comfort and tranquility, but also of community, guests and locals coming together to create positive change. These hotels will serve as a reminder that the hospitality industry is not just about providing luxury for the wealthy. It's about creating an environment where everyone can benefit, where travel is an opportunity to give back to the places that make it possible. As technology continues to advance, one of the most exciting areas of development is the growing use of artificial intelligence in hotel services. The future of hotels will involve a level of personalization that goes beyond anything we've seen before. Thanks to AI, your stay will be fully customized, not only based on your preferences, but also in real time, responding to your mood, activities, and even the weather. Imagine arriving at your hotel after a long flight and immediately being greeted by a virtual assistant who knows exactly what you need. The system will have already analysed your previous stays, your preferences, and even your recent social media posts, with your permission of course, to create an experience that feels tailor-made just for you. Your room will be prepared for you before you even arrive, with your favourite music and lighting settings in place. The AI will also offer suggestions for activities based on your interests, whether it's a quiet, peaceful day of relaxation or an adventure-packed exploration of the local area. The integration of voice assistants and smart home technologies will also play a central role in shaping the hotel of the future. You might check into your room, where the smart system instantly recognizes you, adjusts the room's temperature and lighting, and welcomes you with personalized recommendations for things to do. Throughout your stay, your voice assistant can help with everything, from controlling the room's ambiance and placing restaurant orders, to giving you detailed information about the city's attractions. The sound of this hotel will be filled with the soft hum of technology at work, efficiently and quietly providing everything you need just as you need it. Another emerging trend that's shaping the future of hotels is the growth of luxury hostels and shared accommodation options. Once a space primarily for budget travellers, hostels are now being reimagined as chic, trendy and luxurious places to stay. With private rooms, high-end amenities, and an emphasis on social experiences, luxury hostels will become increasingly popular, especially with millennial and Gen Z travellers. These hostels will offer a mix of shared and private spaces, creating a sense of community among guests, while still offering the comforts and luxury that travellers expect. The sounds in these spaces will be a mix of youthful energy, laughter, conversation, and the hum of social interaction, balanced with the quiet comfort of private rooms, where guests can escape for a restful night's sleep. These modern hostels will cater to travellers who want to experience the world in a more social, connected way, offering unique opportunities for meeting people from all walks of life. As hotels continue to adapt to the needs of an ever-changing world, one thing remains certain: the future of hospitality will be defined by experience. The sounds of tomorrow's hotels will be more than just the creak of doors and the rustling of linens. They will be the gentle hum of personalised service, the whispers of meaningful cultural exchanges, and the peaceful sounds of nature and sustainability. The future hotel will not just offer a place to stay, it will offer a journey, a connection to the destination, and an opportunity to leave a positive impact on the world, As we look ahead to the next decade, the hotel industry will continue to innovate and evolve, offering experiences that not only meet the expectations of modern travellers, but also exceed them. The future of hotels will be an exciting blend of technology, sustainability, and personalised luxury, one that brings together the best elements of human hospitality and cutting-edge innovation to create a travel experience unlike any we've ever known. And so, as we arrive at the final chapter in our journey through the fascinating world of hotels, it's time to reflect on the remarkable transformation that has taken place over the centuries. From the humble guest houses of ancient Mesopotamia to the futuristic high-tech accommodations of today, the evolution of hotels has been shaped by the ever-changing needs of travellers and the ingenuity of those who provide hospitality. But what lies ahead for the hotel industry? How will the sounds of hospitality continue to evolve in the coming decades? The future promises to be just as exciting and transformative as the past. One of the most intriguing prospects for the hotel industry is the rise of hyper-personalised experiences. Today, technology allows for a level of customization that was once unimaginable. But in the future, this personalization will go beyond simple preferences. It will be driven by real-time data, artificial intelligence, and a deeper understanding of guest behaviors. Imagine walking into a hotel where the system doesn't just recognize your name, it knows you. It knows what activities you enjoy, how you like your room arranged, what foods you prefer, and even your ideal temperature settings. The hotel will not only adjust the room to your liking, but will suggest local experiences based on your preferences, making every moment of your stay feel like it was curated specifically for you. The sound of these future hotels will be filled with the soft, reassuring hum of AI working in the background, anticipating your every need without you having to lift a finger. This level of personalization will be a game changer for both business and leisure travelers. Corporate hotels, for example, will use AI to create customized, high-efficiency experiences for traveling professionals, ensuring that every aspect of their stay is optimized for productivity and comfort. On the leisure side, tourists will be able to enjoy tailor-made itineraries that allow them to explore a city or region at their own pace, with activities and dining experiences that match their interests perfectly. These advanced technologies will make hotel stays more seamless and enjoyable than ever before, with the soundscape of these hotels embodying the quiet efficiency of a system that works effortlessly to enhance the guest experience. At the same time, as sustainability becomes an even more pressing concern for the global community, hotels will continue to evolve to meet the challenge of reducing their environmental impact. Imagine a hotel that's not just energy efficient, but completely carbon neutral. Future hotels will integrate cutting-edge sustainability practices into every aspect of their operations, from renewable energy sources and water-saving technologies to zero-waste policies and sustainable building materials. As travellers grow more aware of the environmental footprint of their trips, they will seek out accommodations that align with their values. The sounds of these eco-conscious hotels will be quieter, filled with the hum of green technology and the calm ambience of spaces designed to promote mindfulness and sustainability. In the coming years, we'll also likely see the rise of immersive, experience-driven hotels. These will not be places where you simply sleep. They'll be destinations in themselves, where every detail is designed to transport you to another time or place. Picture a hotel where you can live out your own adventure, whether it's through immersive virtual reality or augmented reality experiences, or through a hotel designed around a specific historical or cultural theme. Imagine staying in a hotel that takes you back to the roaring 1920s, or perhaps one that immerses you in the sights, sounds, and flavours of ancient Rome. These hotels will offer more than just a room. They'll provide an experience that engages all your senses. The sound of these hotels will be rich with the atmosphere of whatever time or place they're designed to evoke, drawing you into an entirely new world. Alongside these immersive experiences, wellness tourism will continue to grow, and hotels will increasingly focus on creating environments designed to promote mental, physical, and emotional well-being. Think of a hotel that not only offers a luxurious spa, but provides a fully integrated wellness journey, from fitness centres equipped with cutting-edge technology to stress-relieving experiences like sound baths, forest therapy walks, and yoga retreats. These hotels will offer the ultimate escape from the demands of everyday life, allowing guests to fully disconnect and recharge. The soundscape here will include soft, calming music the gentle flow of water from a meditation pool, and the rustle of leaves in a peaceful outdoor space, all combining to create an atmosphere of serenity and relaxation. As travel becomes more accessible, the hotel industry will also need to embrace diversity and inclusivity. The future of hotels will be about making everyone feel welcome and valued, regardless of their background, identity, or needs. Hotels will adapt to the growing demand for spaces that cater to all travellers, from accessible rooms for guests with disabilities to culturally sensitive amenities for international visitors. Hotels will become places where all guests feel respected, cared for, and at home, no matter where they come from or what their needs may be. The sounds in these hotels will reflect the diverse voices of a global community coming together, creating a sense of belonging and connection. As we look forward to the future, one thing is certain. The hotel industry will continue to be a vital part of the travel experience. Whether through smart technology, eco-conscious design, immersive experiences, or wellness retreats, the future of hotels is all about personalization, sustainability, and connection. The sounds of these future hotels will be quieter, more efficient, and more tailored to individual needs, but they will still be filled with the essence of what makes travel so special: the opportunity to rest, rejuvenate, and explore new horizons. In conclusion, the story of the hotel industry is a reflection of our ever-changing world, a world where comfort, luxury, efficiency, and authenticity continue to evolve and intertwine. From the ancient guesthouses of Mesopotamia to the digital, eco-conscious, and experience-driven hotels of the future, the hotel industry has always been about more than just a place to sleep. It's about offering a space where travellers can feel at home, whether they're in a bustling city or a tranquil retreat. And as we move forward, the sounds of the hotel industry will continue to echo through time, reminding us of the importance of hospitality and the ways in which we connect, rest, and recharge as we explore the world, 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 as we explore the world,